Asterisk little girl asks, "Are you my new daddy?" The janitor looks at the CEO. Speechless. Asterisk the hallway smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and rain. Thomas, the night janitor, pushed his mop along the marble floor, humming softly to himself. He had just clocked in for another quiet evening at Whitmore Industries, the towering glass building that made the city skyline sparkle. Asterisk, but tonight, it wasn't quiet. Asterisk as he rounded the corner by the executive elevators, he froze. A little girl no older than 5 was sitting cross-legged on the floor, clutching a worn-out teddy bear. Her tiny sneakers were wet, her hair slightly tangled, and her big brown eyes locked on him. Asterisk before he could speak, she tilted her head and asked, "Asterisk, are you my new daddy?" Asterisk the mop slipped from his hand. "I think you mistaken me for someone else," Thomas stammered, glancing around for a parent. But the floor was empty. The building nearly still except for the distant hum of the air conditioning. Asterisk the elevator ding. Asterisk out stepped Charles Whitmore himself, the CEO, billionaire, and, as far as Thomas was concerned, a man who didn't even know the janitors by name. He was in an immaculate suit, silver cufflinks glinting under the fluorescent lights. His face a portrait of power and distance. Asterisk, but when the little girl spotted him, her eyes lit up. She stood, teddy bear in hand, and without hesitation, she ran straight to Thomas. "Not the CEO of Asterisk. Is he your father?" Charles asked, brow furrowed. Asterisk before Thomas could answer, the girl shook her head. "No, but maybe he's my new daddy. He looks kind." Asterisk Charles looked at Thomas, speechless. Thomas could feel the unspoken question in the CEO's gaze. "What's going on?" Asterisk I just found her here, Thomas explained. "I don't know who she is or where she came from." Asterisk the girl interrupted softly. "Mommy had to go. She said she'd be right back, but it's been hours." Her voice cracked. "I was waiting by the doors, but the security guard told me to sit here." Asterisk Thomas's heart tightened. He had grown up in foster care. He knew the sting of waiting for someone who might not come back. Asterisk Charles crouched down, his polished shoes squeaking faintly. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Asterisk Leela, she whispered. Asterisk something shifted in the CEO's expression. His sharp business voice softened. Asterisk they called building security, but no one had seen the mother leave. The security guard's log confirmed she had signed in, but never out. Asterisk I'll take her home for the night, Charles said abruptly. Asterisk Thomas blinked. "Sir, are you sure?" "Maybe the police." Asterisk I know what the police will do, Charles. "Cut in, and I'm not letting her spend the night in a cold, unfamiliar place." He paused. "You're coming with us." Asterisk me, Thomas asked, startled. Asterisk yes. "She trusts you," Charles said simply, "and I think she needs that right now." Asterisk that night, Thomas found himself in the back seat of a black sedan. Leela curled up between him and Charles, clutching her teddy bear. She fell asleep halfway through the ride, her tiny hand resting on Thomas's arm. Asterisk Charles glanced in the rearview mirror, his eyes unusually distant. "My wife and I, we couldn't have children," he said quietly. "It's the one thing I could never buy, never negotiate. I've buried myself in work to forget." Asterisk Thomas listened silently. For the first time, the CEO didn't seem untouchable, he seemed human. Asterisk the next morning, over pancakes in Charles's sprawling kitchen, Lila's mother finally called. She was in tears, explaining that she'd been hospitalized suddenly the night before. She was safe now and on her way. Asterisk when the doorbell rang, Lila ran to greet her. The reunion was teary and tight, the kind you feel in your own chest even if you're just watching. Asterisk as they prepared to leave, Lila hugged Thomas. "I wish you were my new daddy," she whispered. Then she turned to Charles. "And you too. You made me feel safe." Asterisk Charles knelt, his voice gentle. "You already have a daddy in your life, he just might not be here yet, but if you ever need us, we're not far." Asterisk weeks later, Thomas was mopping the same hallway when Charles approached. Asterisk you were right to stop that night, Charles said. "I've been thinking. This building needs a community program, a place for kids who have nowhere safe to go after hours. I want you to help run it." Asterisk Thomas's jaw dropped. "Me? Why me?" Asterisk because sometimes, Charles said, the right person isn't the one with the most power. It's the one with the biggest heart. Asterisk and so, what started as a strange question from a lost little girl became the beginning of something. They are a reminder that kindness can ripple outward, changing not just one life, but many. Asterisk, sometimes the smallest voices say the words we most need to hear, and sometimes they make strangers in the family. Asterisk.